Hello and welcome to another Uniko video with me, Bev, the owner and designer of all things Uniko. Today is day 4 and the final day of the June 2026 new release product introductions, and today I am back with another super fun excuse me, Ink and Flip stencil called Ink and Flip Chevron Duo. So here is the stencil. I shall put them, as you can see, I've put a T at the top, just because it just makes life a little bit easier for me sometimes. One is plain here. It has a plain chevron, so when you flip it the other way, it creates this wonderful zigzag pattern. And then this one is the same, but it has a pattern to the chevron. Now, if you've been a customer fan of Uniko for since 2013, you might remember a product called Background Builders Chevron. Now, that stamp set is long retired, and I did think it crossed my mind recently to bring it back with my love of geometrics and everything. But then I sort of thought, well, no, I'm gonna do it as an Ink and Flip stencil instead, and I'm so glad I did. So I'm going to show you how that stencil works shortly and how you can combine them both together. So on this stencil, on this card that I shared on the blog today, you'll see that I'll lay the stencil over the top. You can see that I did it in the pink, and then I cleaned my stencil, dried it off, flipped it over, and then the pattern will match up, and I did it in the buttercup yellow to create that solid multicolored chevron. And then the gaps in between are perfectly sized for using the other stencil, which has the pattern on. And again, I did it in aqua sky, cleaned my stencil, flipped it over, and then did it in the ocean side. And just like all the Ink and Flip pattern stencils, it is one that you can continue repeating side to side, up and down. And then I die cut a couple of circles just to create a little bit of white space, even though it's aqua, white space, so it wasn't totally filled with pattern, and just embellished it with a floral and a sentiment from Doodle Flower. So that shows how they can both be used together in one way. Obviously, over on the blog today, there are lots of other samples and ways the team have used the stencil. They don't have to be used as an Ink and Flip. There are just so many other creative options. Now, this second card I created uses just the plain chevron, and I used basil and sweet pea inks from Concord and 9th to create the background. And then, because I quite like the boldness of the background and being colourful, I went with Beautiful Blooms 1. I stamped and die cut the flowers and leaves. I added a little bit of glitter and shimmer, and then added the hello sentiment from mid-century modern everyday sentiments. So that is showing just the plain chevron. So let's have a look at this stencil in action. So I have a little idea in my head, and I'm just using some temporary adhesive there to hold my piece of cardstock in place. And I decided that I fancied using mid-century modern birthday with this stamp set. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment first, and I'm going to go with happy birthday. Keep it sort of super fun for a masculine birthday card. So I'm just eyeballing this here, trying to do it sort of in the center hopefully, she says. I'm going to try and do both together, and then I'll get to doing the stenciling. So again, I'm going to use my Misty Light to stamp the sentiment. Hold it down with my magnets. Now I'm just going to go with a black inked sentiment. Make sure it's picked up. I'm just using VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. It's one of my favourites. Along with, I do like the VersaFine Inks Black as well. But I do just tend to use the VersaFine Claire. It is my go-to. It's one that I keep pretty much out on my desk all the time. Now I'm just going to, as it's quite, excuse me, a solid sentiment, I am just going to repeat stamp it over the top. I didn't get as solid impression as I was hoping to the first time round. So apologies for being a little bit later today, and obviously the light is starting to fade a little bit. My boys had their year 6 performance today at school this afternoon. So we braved the sweaty temperatures and went and watched them in the hall at school, and it was super fun. All the kids did really well. It was just really fun to watch. Can't believe next week they have their first proper couple of transition days. I think they're excited and ready for a new chapter. So what I'm going to do, I am going to mask off a couple of rows of the chevrons, just so it doesn't go over where I have the sentiment. So I'm going to use the pattern one here, and as you can see, I've flipped it over, I've moved the T to the other side. I chose Bluebell and Capri, 2 of the new colours from Concord and Night for today, to see how they look together. I've used them a bit, but not a lot, so I chose these couple of colours, as I say, and I wanted to do a bit more more of a masculine feel card, so I tend to go for blues and greens, though I know men like all colours, just like us women do, but I've gone for blues today, like the blue, excuse me, sky, though it has been super thundery storms here today. The temperature hasn't really dropped a lot. It actually got hotter. We had a huge thunderstorm this morning with lightning, rain and loud thunder. And then at 11 o'clock, it was like it never had happened, and it was hotter than yesterday. It was 32 degrees here in the northeast, which is unheard of. And then so I had like beautiful bright blue skies, and then not long after we'd picked them up from their performance, after doing their performance, it started thundering and lightning again, and now it's beautiful again. But I can see that I think there is a storm rolling in from the sea. I am a little bit away from the coast, but my office window does face seaward, and I can see it rolling in. I did stick some washing out, so I'll have to keep an eye out for it. So as you saw there, I did move the stencil down just a little bit, so I get more of 3 blocks below the 3 rows below the sentiment. And when it comes to matching the design, which I'm going to use the other stencil to complete the chevron rows. So yeah, I was saying the design team have come up with loads of different ideas using this stencil, different pairings with Uniko products, and just different ways to create pattern, not just in these standard chevron rows, which is super fun. And one thing I love to see is creativity. So you could just leave something like that, you know, and then you could just move it up and overlap, do shadows, so many different options. But I thought I'd show you how I originally envisioned the stencils would work. So obviously where I've got it placed now, it's only matching the top 2 rows above my sentiment. I'm just making sure that I've got it lined up how I want it to be. And then I'm just going to place my magnets down and then come back in with my mask. So I'm going to use the darker blue, this Capri colour, for this side of the stencil. As you see, it is a lot darker. It's a lovely, lovely bright blue. These get in the way a little bit sometimes. I've recently re-inked this pad, so I'm just careful not to saturate it too much that it seeps under the stencil, which annoys me a little bit sometimes. I can go in a bit heavy-handed with freshly filled ink pads. So then all I'm going to do is, like I did before, just move the stencil down, keeping it in line. I'm going to mask. I'm going to have to go up just slightly. With that. Should be fine. Fill in the blank spaces. So if you had crazy storms where you are, if you're in the UK today or wherever you are in the world, you might have had storms. So as I say, it hasn't cooled it down much. It's nearly 7:30 in the evening here and it's still 24 degrees, it's saying on my watch. Though it is a bit cooler than it was earlier, but I'm still loving the sunshine. So today the boys did Treasure Island with their class. There's 2 classes in their year. And it was really good fun. It was called a play in a week. So literally they went in on Monday. They knew what that they were doing Treasure Island, but it's taken them a week to do all the props, do the script themselves, plan, act it out, and just do everything in a week. And honestly, they did a marvelous job. It was really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So this is Ink Flip Chevron Duo. So you can see that I've used both of the stencils together to create this wonderful chevron wave, perfect 1-layer card. Super simple to use, lots of creativity options, and yeah, I can't wait to see how you all use it. So today was the last product introduction for this release, which means tomorrow is release day. So all the 4 products that I have introduced this week here on YouTube and across Uniko social media will be available on the website at 9 a.m. British summertime, and I will do my best to get early orders shipped out before the post goes. It is a Saturday, so I only have till lunchtime, but if you get it in early doors, I'll hope to ship before the post office shuts. And again, thank you for all your wonderful comments this week. Thank you for all the new follows. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to all the new people who have subscribed. I appreciate it all, and I will see you again soon. Hopefully I'll find some time to drop in tomorrow. If not, I'm away on Sunday. I am at Stamperama, Bolton, I think it is. Stamperama, Bolton, Craftorama. At Bolton Wanderers Football Club. I will be on the Dies to Die For stand with Uniko products. So I have got that to prep for as well. As I'll be leaving early Sunday morning. But I will definitely be back next week with more to share. Again, thank you for joining me, and see you all again soon. Bye for now.